Assalamualaikum. My name is Mariam Afifa binti Ahmad Karumazmi. So for today's presentation, I would like to share with you about personality. What is personality? Personality is a characteristic way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Personality embraces moods, attitudes, and opinion and is most clearly expressed in interaction with other people. It includes behavioral characteristics, both inherent and acquired, that distinguish one person from another, and that can be observed in people's relation to the environment and to the social group. The next is personality traits. Personality traits reflect people's characteristic, pattern of thought, feeling, and behavior. Personality traits imply consistency and stability, which is someone who scores high on a specific trait like extroversion, is expected to be sociable in different situations and over time. Next, personality determinants. Personality determinants is a result of combination of three factors, which is physical environment, heredity, and situation. So the next is MBTI. MBTI is a personality test that tests 4 characteristics and classifies people into one of 16 personality types. 16 personality types. First is extroversion, which is sociable, cancerous, and assertive. The second is introversion, which is reserved, timid, and quiet. The third is sensing, which is paying attention to physical reality, what they see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. The fourth is intuition, which is love different ideas and possibilities, interest in new and different things, and see the big picture, tend to find out the. The next is thinking, which is look for logical explanation or solution for everything to make decision. And the sixth is feeling, which is people orientation, concern with harmony and express concern to others. And the seventh is judging, like to have things decided, task orientation, and to make lists of things to do and sometimes to on the go. And the last is persevering, loose and casual, keep plans to a minimum and approach work as play or make work and play. This is the results of 16 types of personality after we did the personality test. If I am a manager and a company, let's say Starbucks, I will choose an employee that have ESTP personality and ENTP personality. ESTP personality is dynamic, maverick. The employee that have this personality is a problem solver and good at negotiating. They are unconventional, impulsive, and active. For the ENTP, which is innovative explorer, the employee is a person that love to learn. They welcome new challenges and they are inventive, logical, and energetic. Uh, these two types of person in this personality can make my company uh, grow very well. So let's move to the next slide is more explanation about personality.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fakimi. I'm from DBS 5P. Today I want to talk about personality in two subtopics. We go to the first. I will discuss about the first subtopic first, which is the big personality dimensions, which is extroversion, agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, and neuroticism. Alright, we go to the first, extroversion, or we can call it extroversion. It's characterized by accessibility, sociability, talkativeness, assertiveness, and high amount of emotional expression. For the extroversion, the high extroversion, which is they enjoy being the center of attention, they like to start the conversation, they enjoy to to meet the new people, which is the low extroversion, or we can call specific call it introversion or introvert, which is they prefer solitude, feel exhausted when having to socialize a lot, find it with the difficult conversation. That is for extroversion. Alright, we go to the number 2, which is agreeableness. This personality dimension includes attributes such as trust, altruism, kindness, affections, and other pro-social behaviors. People who are high agreeableness, which is to be more competitive, while the low agreeableness is to be more competitive and sometimes even manipulative. Which is, we go to the contra about the higher and the low agreeableness, which is the first high. They has a great idea of interest in other people, cares about the others, and after that feel empathy and concern to other people. We go to the low agreeableness, which is take little interest in others, doesn't care about how other people feel, and after that has little interest in other people's problems. Alright, we go to the number 3, which is conscientiousness. Alright, standard features of this dimension include high level of thoughtfulness, good impulse control, and goal-directed behavior. Which is the high consciousness, people tend to be organized and mindful of detail. They plan ahead, think about how their behavior affects others, and are mindful of deadline. We go to the contra about the high and the low. The high, which is they spend time to preparing some work about the work, after that finish important tasks firstly, and after that pay attention to the detail and enjoy having a set by a schedule. For the low, which is dislike structure and schedule, make mess and doesn't take care of things, and fails to retain things or put them back where they belong. Alright, we go to the number 4, which is neuroticism. Neuroticism is characterized by the sadness about the mood and about the emotional instability. Individuals are high in distress is a negative part, which is experience a lot of stress, worries about many different things, get upset easily, and after that feel anxious. We go to the low neuroticism, which is a positive part, which is emotionally stable, deals well with stress, rarely feels sad or depressed, doesn't worry much about the work. We go to the last 5 is about the openness dimension. Alright, this dimension features characteristics such as imagination and insight. People who are high in this dimension also tend to have broad range of interest. After that, the low is often much more traditional and may struggle with abstract thinking. We go to the high, contra, high and low, which is the high is very creative, focus on tackling new challenge, and after that open to trying new things. About the low, dislike change, doesn't know enjoy about new things, and resist new ideas. First, we go to the locus of control. Locus of control is a center of control of an individual code of conduct. We know that they have 2 types, which is internal and external. The internal is people who consider themselves as the master of their own fates, as known as internal. After that, the external, which is who affirm that their life are controlled by outsider force, known as external. And the other hand are more compliant, more willing to follow instructions, so they do well to structured routine job. Now we go to the self-esteem. Self-esteem is the extent to which people either like or dislike themselves. Self-esteem is directly related to the expectation of success and on-the-job satisfaction. Number 3, Machiavellianism is a practical and emotional distant and believing that ends justify means. They are always wanting to win and are great persuaders. Here are the significant features of high match individual. Number 1, which is high match, prefer precise interaction rather than beating about the bush. Number 2, which is tend to be improvised. They do not necessarily abide by rules and regulations all the time. Number 3, gets distracted by emotional details that are irrelevant to the outcome of a project. We go to the number 4, self-monitoring. Alright, in the capability of regulating one's behavior according to social situations, individuals with higher self-monitoring skill easily adjust their behavior according to the external, which is in situation factors. Their impulsive talents allow them to present public personnel, which is completely different from their private personalities, which is the external. However, their skill cannot cover themselves regardless of any situations. They are always themselves. They say they hold their word, which is what you see is what you get. We go to the last subtopic number 2 and the last discuss for this time. Alright, we go to the risk taking. Generally, managers are reluctant on taking risks. However, individual risk taking inclination affects the bulk of information required by managers and how long it takes them to make decisions. It is very important to recognize these differences and align risk taking propensity with precise job demands that can make sense.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Sulaiman and this is values in organizational behavior. The definition of value is basic conviction that a specific mode of conduct or instead of existence is personally or socially preferable to an opposite or converse mode of conduct or instead of existence. This means value is something that is preferable in socially and also personally to a person. Values that are sought after in organization is integrity and ethics. Simply put, the two principles of integrity and ethics: doing the right thing in an honest, fair, and responsible way, building your entire business on the foundation of honesty and integrity goes a long way into building a strong trust relationship with its employees, stakeholders, and customers. The also conduct on everyone's part can create a strong, credible reputation of the company in the market, which is beneficial for everyone's interest. And one is respect. Respecting all employees means respecting their human rights and privacy, eliminating all kinds of form of discrimination, whether based on religion, belief, race, ethnicity, nationality, gender, or physical disability. Moreover, ensuring a safe or healthy work environment for all employees is an important part of giving respect to them. Another one is innovation. Companies that focus on being ahead of their competitors and introducing new ideas in the marketplace follow the principle of innovation, not imitation. This is crucial if a company wants to be a trendsetter and introduce new products that consumers appreciate. Employees in such companies are encouraged to be dynamic and come up with innovative ideas that can be translated into successful products for the company. Constantly imitating others won't take the business far. Last one is ROI. The test to constantly improve can be achieved if one is never satisfied. Organizations that have this principle as one of their core values try to provide a dynamic platform to their employees where they can explore their creativity and skills and further enhance themselves. While celebrating success is an important thing, just sitting back and getting complacent over them is unacceptable for such companies. The reason why some companies habitually do well is because they know that employees are the most valuable resource. I think compared to an employee who is dedicated and willing to go to the extra mile. This requires a company to cultivate an environment that promotes respect and frowns upon politics. Thank you. This is all from me for now.
Hi, my name is Wan Hazwani binti Wan Effendi, ID number BDB 1906093. So I would like to tell you about perceptional in organizational behavior. So we go through definition of perception. A process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impression in order to give meaning to their environment. People behavior is based on their perception of what reality is, not on reality itself. And then factor that influence perception. Factor that influence perception divide by 3, which is factor in the perceiver, factor in situation, and factor in target. Factor in the perceiver. Several characteristics of the perceiver can affect perception. When an individual looks at a target and attempts to interpret what he or she, that interpretation is heavily influenced by personal characteristics of individual perceiver. The major characteristics of the perceiver influencing perception are attitude, motives, interest, experience, and expectation. So next is factors in the situation. In this factor, the point that include are time, word setting, and social setting. The strength of the situational cues also affects social perception. In this situation, we assume that the individual's behavior can be accounted for by situations, and that it may not reflect the individual disposition. And the last one is factors in the target. For this last factor, the points include are novelty, motion, sounds, size, background, proximity, and similarity. Characteristic of the target being observed can affect what is perceived. Because targets are not looked at in isolation, the relationship of a target to its background also influence perception, as does our tendency to group close things and similar things together. And that's all for me. Thank you.